My friend Carl turned 71 last spring and did something his accountant called irresponsible. He walked into a dealership in Tampa and paid cash for a 38-foot fishing boat he'd been talking about since the Reagan administration. His daughter called me, half laughing, half worried. Dad finally cracked. Carl didn't crack. Carl did the math. And the math, it turns out, is brutal. See, Carl has a bank account most people never think about. It's not the one at Chase. It's the one nobody hands you a statement for. The account holding your healthy, mobile, energetic years. And Carl noticed something his financial planner never mentioned. That account was draining a lot faster than his 401k ever would. Look, if you're tired of being told to clip coupons in your 70s, hit subscribe. We talk straight here, no lectures. Now, you've heard the gospel. Save. Save more. Don't touch the principal. Leave something for the kids. I get it. Most of us were raised by people who lived through the Depression, where throwing out a rubber band was practically a federal crime. That programming runs deep, but here's what nobody tells you. Researchers at the Employee Benefit Research Institute looked at what actually happens to retiree wealth, and the findings are kind of stunning. The average retiree dies with most of their savings still sitting there, untouched. Many leave more than they had the day they retired. We've been so terrified of running out, we forgot to live. And after 70, the rules change. The wealthiest retirees, and I mean truly wealthy in life, not just bank balance, figured this out. So I'm going to walk you through 7 things they started buying without guilt after 70. Stick around for number 1. That's the one that'll hit hardest. And I'll admit it now, I'm guilty of dragging my feet on a couple of these myself. Number 7. First-class travel, or at minimum, premium economy. I know. Your dad would have called this a swindle. But hear me out. When you were 35, a 6-hour coach flight was a minor inconvenience. At 72, with a replaced knee and a finicky lower back, that same flight is a medical event. Frank, a retired contractor I know, worth about $1.6 million, used to white-knuckle every long flight in coach. Last year, he flew business class to Lisbon. Cost him an extra $3,200. He told me he stepped off the plane and could actually walk. Tell me again, who was winning when he was saving that money and arriving wrecked for 2 days? Researchers actually found that physical comfort isn't a luxury after 70. It's medicine. Boring? Maybe. But you know what's even more boring? Dying with $400,000 you never spent because you wanted to be reasonable about leg room. Number 6. Concierge medicine. Medicare is fine. Medicare gets you a doctor who has 12 minutes for you and types into a laptop the whole time. Concierge medicine gets you a doctor who has your cell phone number. Margaret, 73, widow, about $900,000 to her name. She signed up for a concierge practice last year. $2,000. Her doctor caught a thyroid issue at a routine follow-up that her old GP would have scheduled 3 months out. 3 months at 73 is not the same as 3 months at 43. Time itself becomes the most valuable thing you own. Paying a couple grand a year for a doctor who actually knows your name isn't extravagance. That's strategy. Number 5. Time-saving services. Housekeeping. Meal delivery. A driver if you need one. I used to think hiring a cleaner was something other people did. People with too much money and not enough shame. Then I did the math on what 2 hours of scrubbing a bathroom actually costs a 72-year-old. It costs you 2 hours of the active life you've got left in that invisible bank account. Diane, 76, finally hired someone every other week. $160 a month. She told me I gave myself back about 100 hours a year, and at my age, 100 hours is real money. She's right. The currency you can't see is the one running out fastest. Number 4, gifts and experiences with the grandkids. Now, not in a will. Buckle up, because this one goes against everything you've been told. Bob, retired pharmacist, worth about $2.4 million, took his whole family, 3 kids, 7 grandkids, to Disney World last summer. Cost him around $14,000. His CPA winced. Bob didn't. Because here's the thing. If Bob dies at 84 and leaves that same $14,000 split between 3 kids, after taxes and a few years of inflation, each kid gets a check that pays for a decent dishwasher. Nobody remembers a dishwasher. The 7-year-old riding Space Mountain with Grandpa? She'll remember that when she's 50. Inheritance gets diluted. Memories compound. That's the entire secret. And real quick, if any of this is hitting home, drop a comment and tell me which one stung. And smash that like button. It genuinely helps the channel, and it tells me you want more straight talk like this. Number 3, the dream item. The boat. The sports car. The lake house. The Steinway. Whatever it is you've been deferring since 1985 because it felt indulgent. Researchers have a term for finally pulling the trigger. They call it psychological permission spending. The wealthy after 70 give themselves that permission. Here's what's wild. The average American has roughly 10 to 15 years of post-retirement active health. Not 25, 10 to 15. So if you're 70 and you've been saving for the lake house someday, let me ask you something gently. Whose someday are you saving it for? Because every year you wait, the window closes a few more inches. Carl's boat? He's used it 41 times already. He told me each trip out, he thinks about the guys he knew who waited. They're not waiting anymore. They're just gone. Number 2, quality over quantity in everything. The food, the clothes, the trips, the wine. Look, I'm guilty of this one too. I spent decades buying the cheaper version of everything because it felt responsible. Then I read something that rewired my brain. Memory researchers found we don't remember frequent, average experiences. We remember exceptional ones. 10 mediocre dinners disappear from your brain within a month. 2 extraordinary ones live there for a decade. So the question isn't, can I afford the nice restaurant? The question is, at 73, how many extraordinary dinners do you actually have left? 100? Fewer? Suddenly, the $180 tasting menu doesn't look extravagant. It looks like the only sensible math in the room. Number 1, and this is the one. The wealthy after 70 buy back their own time. They pay to skip the things they don't want to do anymore. They fly instead of driving 14 hours to see the grandkids. They hire the painter instead of climbing the ladder. They quietly drop the social obligations that drain them. The committee they never liked, the holiday party that's become a chore, the friendship that's been one-sided since 1998. They use money to buy hours of their own remaining life back. That's it. That's the move. It's not flashy. It doesn't look like wealth from the outside. But it is wealth, the deepest kind. The kind that says, my time is finite and precious, and I'm going to spend my dollars protecting it. Now, here's the part that should sit with you. Studies on retirement spending show retirees systematically underspend. On average, people die leaving more than $300,000 untouched. Not because they couldn't afford to spend it, because they were afraid. Afraid of running out, afraid of being irresponsible, afraid of what their parents would have said. And here's the part nobody talks about. Most adult children don't expect a windfall. Ask them. A lot of them have said, on the record, they'd rather have seen their parents enjoy life. The regret asymmetry is staggering. Dying having spent too much is rare. Dying having spent too little, that's the statistical norm. That's most people. That might be you. Look, you worked for this 40, 50 years of showing up, of deferring, of being the responsible one. The invisible bank account, the one holding your healthy years, is not going to send you a low balance warning. It just runs out one Tuesday, quietly, and nobody tells you it was the last good Tuesday until later. If you've been waiting for someone to give you permission, here it is. Spend it, use it, take the trip. Hire the help, buy the boat, take the grandkids somewhere they'll remember when you're gone. I'd love to hear from you. Which one of these are you finally giving yourself permission to do? Drop it in the comments. Be honest. I read them. Hit like if this gave you something to think about. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you know what to do. And the video popping up on your screen right now, watch that one next. It's the natural follow-up to everything we just talked about. I'll see you there.